Hey everyone, it's Aaliyah with Beyond the Frame, YouTube's #1 resource for everything behind the scenes of your favorite films, TV shows, and animes. And today we're talking about the anime Dandadan, which is considered to be one of the best animes in 2024. Now, I'm a huge anime fan, so I'm very excited to be sharing this video with you because the 7th episode of Dandadan nearly ripped my soul in half. Seriously, it was rough. So, in this video, I'm going to share some of the backstory into how this anime came to life, a few interesting facts you might not know about Dandadan, and why everyone is freaking out about the show. Dandadan follows two high schoolers who attend the same high school, Momo Ayase and Ken Takakura, the same name as the actor Momo has a crush on, who was known for his stoic warrior persona. So, for Momo, not to confuse the two, she calls our character Okarun instead. Momo is a big believer of ghosts but not aliens, and Okarun believes in aliens but not ghosts. After getting into an argument over who is right, they make a bet and Momo goes to a place that is believed to host aliens while Okarun goes to a place said to have ghosts. As they're bashing one another over the phone, Momo is suddenly abducted by aliens and they inadvertently unlock her latent psychic powers. At the same time, Okarun becomes cursed by a spirit, Turbo Baba, my favorite character in the series, who takes over his body and steals his ochimpo, or penis in English. When I saw the first episode, my initial reaction was very lacking. But thanks to the fans, I pushed through and I'm so grateful I did because this anime truly lives up to the hype. Dandadan became serialized in 2021 and currently has 17 volumes with an anime being announced near the end of 2023 and was positively received by the writers of Anime News Network, who gave Dandadan a perfect score. Many reviewers shared the sentiment, saying the show's popularity is due to being visually vibrant, rich, chaotic, tragic, and beautiful, with young love blossoming before our eyes. Now, the creator of Dandadan, Yukinobu Tatsu, is a very private person and uses a pen name to release his work. You might recognize some of his earlier work like Fireball, Yamada Kiki Ippatsu, and Seigi no Rokugo. Not to mention he worked as an assistant on Hell's Paradise, Jigoku Raku, and Chainsaw Man, which is a great place to be when you want to write Dandadan, especially when you have the author of Chainsaw Man telling fans to watch Dandadan. So, now that you know what the fans and critics are saying, I think it's important to highlight where Yukinobu-san got his inspiration while working on Dandadan. The one that stands out to me was a line he found casually written in his notebook. The line said, "The movie Sadako vs. Kayoko, The Ring vs. The Grudge, is interesting." The film inspired Yukinobu-san to create a ghostly face-off, which later evolved into aliens in Dandadan. And while he didn't love horror movies, the reason he was so inspired by The Ring vs. The Grudge was because of how silly the entire concept was. And that silliness was very important to him because even though he wanted elements of horror, he greatly desired humor and laughter incorporated throughout the series. It was so important to him that during a drinking session with his editor, the idea of Okarun losing his balls quickly morphed into an important storyline. And I am open enough to admit that the golden ball scene made me laugh like a juvenile. In the beginning of Dandadan, it seemed like there wasn't any plot or real direction. And if you also had that same thought, then you are completely right. It wasn't until Yukinobu-san was a few chapters into the story that a concrete plot was finally decided. The reason for that was because in 2019, Yukinobu-san said he was no longer able to write, that he suffered from writer's block and was on the cusp of giving up entirely. Thankfully, his editor encouraged him to draw whatever he wanted, even if it was just one page. His editor knew Yukinobu-san had a potential and that his next story could be very special. So with a lot of breathing room, he let Yukinobu-san draw whatever he wanted to draw, and thanks to that strategy, Dandadan was born. Plus, who doesn't love a kick-ass fight scene? A quote I saw from Yukinobu-san said, "I've always loved Akira Toriyama sensei's work. DB was the first manga I bought with my allowance and it was what inspired me to draw." I later saw that he said Berserk was his favorite manga and he strives to make his drawings as realistic as possible, which you definitely see in Dandadan. And if you ever wondered why Okarun's voice sounds so familiar, it's probably because you've seen these little old characters at some point in your anime career.
兄さん、俺はどこかで見たことある気がするんだけど、コニーさんが俺を知らないなら気のせいか。喋ってくれた。今投げたのは何？
さようなら。
お金？表と裏って書いてあるね。
Not to mention the countless other characters he voices. Amazing. I can't praise Dandadan enough. It does an incredible job of ripping off the safety blanket and shoving you into a world of unpredictability. You feel like you're riding an emotional roller coaster, one moment bursting out in laughter, only for the next scene to leave a warm, tingling sensation in your chest that is suddenly taken over by a mind-numbing sob, which quickly fades into terrifying horror, only for this process to repeat again and again until you realize there are no more episodes left to binge. It's an exhilarating feeling that is both addicting and exhausting, which is why we keep getting roped back in for more. Yukinobu-san hits on so many genres and yet manages to blend them together seamlessly. Probably thanks to all those shoujo mangas his editor told him to read, but seriously, after the end of each episode, I couldn't stop thinking about what I had just seen, and I won't ruin episode 7 for you, but it was so wild that my mom and I floated between looking like this and this for the rest of the night. I can't wait for the next episodes, so I encourage you to have an open mind, watch the first 2 episodes back to back because trust me, Dandadan is worth it. This is Aaliyah with Beyond the Frame. Dandadan, are we in? Are we out? What do we think? Let me know. Are there any animes you're obsessed with and want me to talk about? Leave them in the comments below, and remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.